Most capable professionals plateau earlier than they should, not because they lack skill, but because they follow advice that stopped working years ago. And no one tells you this until it's already cost you. For decades, the formula was simple: work hard, be reliable, get good at your job, and eventually the system would reward you. That advice wasn't wrong. It's just outdated, because the system changed, quietly, while the advice stayed the same. Today, being good at your job is expected. It's the baseline, not the differentiator. And if you're still operating like competence alone will carry you, you're playing by rules that no longer apply. We were taught to believe this idea. First, prove yourself, then you'll be noticed. But in modern organizations, visibility often comes before reward, not after. Here's what this looks like in practice. You solve a critical problem, save the project. Your manager thanks you in passing. 3 months later, someone else gets promoted. Not because they did more, but because their work was easier to see. Managers are overloaded. Organizations move fast. Decisions are made with partial information. So what gets rewarded isn't just competence, it's perceived value. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Competence without visibility is invisible. And many very capable people stall, not because they're weak, but because they assume quality speaks for itself. It doesn't anymore. The people who advance aren't always the best. They're the ones whose contributions are legible to decision makers. Another belief many professionals carry: if I stay loyal, the organization will take care of me. Emotionally, that feels fair. Economically, it's no longer how systems work. Organizations now optimize continuously. Roles change, teams restructure, priorities shift. Your loyalty might be appreciated, but it's rarely protected. The system doesn't reward sacrifice. It rewards irreplaceability and leverage. That doesn't make organizations evil. It makes them rational. Now, this doesn't mean loyalty itself is worthless. Being loyal to people, to values, to craft, those still matter deeply. But here's what changed. You cannot outsource your career strategy to your employer. Being good at your job helps the organization. It doesn't automatically protect you. Loyalty is still valuable. Just don't expect it to be reciprocated structurally. Here's the quiet risk many people miss. Skills now expire faster than job titles. Automation, AI, process optimization. Roles that once took years to master can become obsolete in a fraction of that time. If your value is tied to one role, one tool, one narrow expertise, then your risk is invisible until it isn't. The most vulnerable professionals aren't the weakest. They're the ones who were excellent in a system that moved on. So what do? You build what I call transferable leverage, skills and relationships that aren't locked into one context. You learn adjacent domains. You understand the business logic around your role, not just within it. You don't just ask, how do I get better at this? You ask, what stays valuable when this changes? This isn't pessimism. It's awareness. Doing good work still matters, but it's no longer sufficient on its own. What matters now is understanding how systems reward value, not how they should work, how they actually work. Make your contribution legible. If decision makers can't clearly see your impact, it might as well not exist. Here's one concrete thing you can do this week. Write down 3 things you've done recently that created real value. Then ask yourself, who knows about this besides me? If the answer is almost no one, you have a visibility problem, not a performance problem. Build optionality and leverage over time. The best professionals aren't the ones with one bulletproof skill. They're the ones with options, multiple paths forward, skills that compound across contexts. The people who do well going forward aren't necessarily the hardest workers. They're the clearest thinkers. They don't just ask, how do I do my job better? They ask, how does this system actually decide who advances? Being good at your job is table stakes. Understanding the game is the advantage. And once you see that clearly, you stop blaming yourself and start making better bets.